Hello, friends. Today we are going to read Annie and Snowball and the Thankful Friends by Cynthia Ryland, illustrated by Susie Stemson. So here we go. Annie and Snowball and the Thankful Friends. Contents: a big table. Good ideas. Pretty cards. Thankful. A big table. It was almost time for Thanksgiving. Annie loved Thanksgiving. This year she wanted to have a big dinner in her new neighborhood. Her cousin Henry lived next door. Annie knew that his family would come for dinner at her house. But who else could Annie and her dad invite? Annie didn't have any brothers or sisters. She didn't have a big family of her own. But there was a big table in her house, and she wanted lots of people around it. Who could she invite for Thanksgiving? Good ideas. Annie counted the dining room chairs, and then she and her bunny Snowball went next door to visit Henry. Henry was playing cards with his big dog Mudge. Mudge was winning because he was drooling on the cards. Henry didn't want drooly cards, so Mudge got to keep the drooly ones. Mudge had a lot of cards. Annie sat next to Henry. We have room for 5 more people for Thanksgiving dinner, she told Henry. Great, said Henry, but I don't know anyone else to invite, said Annie. Henry always had good ideas about dogs, but he wasn't sure he had good ideas about dinners. Does your grandma have any old friends? Asked Henry. That's a great idea, said Annie. We can invite her 2 best friends. And what about the postman, Mr. Bell? Said Henry. His family lives in Alaska. You're right, said Annie. Maybe he'd like to have dinner with us. Maybe Miss Chang. John, said Henry. Of course, said Annie. Miss Chan taught 1st grade at their school. She was from China. Her family was far, far away, too. Great, said Henry. That's 4. But didn't you say have 5 extra chairs? Yes. Yes, said Annie, but I can't think of anyone else to invite. Maybe someone else will just show up. Party cards. Annie asked her dad if he could invite more people for Thanksgiving dinner. He said sure, so she made little cards. She gave 2 to her grandmother, 1 to Mr. Bell, and 1 to Mr. Chang. The cards had sparkly orange glitter on them and pictures of fall leaves. Please join us for Thanksgiving, the card said. Annie hoped everyone would. Thankful. On Thanksgiving Day, Annie was very excited. She dressed up in an orange cowdery jumper and orange tights and brown shiny shoes. I want to look pumpkin-y, Annie told her dad. Snowball looked pumpkin-y too. She was wearing a sparkly orange bow. Annie set the table while her dad cooked the dinner. Annie brought all her favorite teapots and teacups. She made place cards and set them in little pine cones. She gathered fall leaves in a big basket for the table. It all looked beautiful. Then everyone arrived. grandmother's friend met Snowball and Mudge. Mr. Bell met Mr. Chang. Everyone new met everyone old. Then they all sat down to eat. Annie said the blessing. We give thanks for good food and good family and good friends. We give thanks for snowy bunnies and drooly dogs. We give thanks for everything. Then her dad carved the turkey and they all had a wonderful dinner. Just as they were finishing up, who walked through the front door? Aunt Sally, said Annie and Henry. She was a surprise. She had flown all the way from California, and she had crackers and carrots in her pockets. Annie's dad pulled the 11th chair to the table. I'm thankful you haven't eaten everything, said Aunt Sally. And then they all had a second helping as Thanksgiving dinner started all over again. The end.
Annie and Snowball and the Grandmother Night by Cynthia Rylands. Someone special. Annie loved her family. She loved her aunts and uncles and cousins, especially Henry. She loved her father and her bunny Snowball. Snowball was family to Annie, and someone she loved in a very special way. It was her grandmother. One night every month, Annie stayed at her grandmother's house, and a grandmother night was tonight. Annie wanted to pack all her stuffed animals, but Annie's dad said that she should take 2. Oh dear, who to take? Annie chose 2 little mice. She promised the other animals that they would get a grandmother night too. They all looked happy about that. Annie said to Snowball, I'm glad you aren't stuffed. You always get to go. Grandmother. On the drive to Grandmother's house, Annie read books to her dad. Her dad liked funny books the best, so Annie read joke books to him. They laughed and laughed. Snowball took a long nap. When they finally arrived, Grandmother was standing at her door. She scooped Annie and Snowball into her arms. She was smiling so brightly. She told Annie that her hair looked pretty and that she liked Annie's sparkly shoes. Grandmother told Snowball that Snowball was a very good bunny. She gave Annie's dad a kiss on the cheek, then she brought them into her house. Grandmother had the best house. It was soft and warm, just like her. It had soft chairs. It had pretty lamps. It had a bowl full of peppermints. Even had a budgie. The budgie's name was Marty. Annie loved Marty. She said hello to him and gave a bit of Snowball's apple. Marty bounced and chirped. Like Grandmother, he loved company. Everyone felt so happy. Just girls. Annie's dad had a cup of tea, and then he said goodbye. You girls have fun, he said as he left. We will, said Annie and Grandmother. Then they went right to the kitchen. Baking cookies was always at the top of their list. While the cookies baked, they played a game of tic-tac-toe. Annie called it tic-tac-cookie dough. Later, they ate cookies and watched their favorite movie. It was about 3 lost pets who find their way home. If Snowball ever gets lost, said Annie, Mudge would find her. Mudge was Cousin Henry's big dog that Annie loved. After the movie, Annie and Grandmother said goodnight to Marty. Grandmother put a nice cover over his cage. Marty liked to sleep in the dark. Sweet dreams, Marty, said Annie. It was time for bed. Time to go. Annie and Grandmother always did 3 things before bed. First, they washed up. Then, they braided each other's hair. Then, they told each other a story. It was always a story from their lives. Tonight, Annie told Grandmother the story of visiting the zoo with Cousin Henry's family. Grandmother told Annie the story of learning to ride a horse when she was small. They loved story time. They learned a lot about each other. The stories always gave them good dreams. The next morning, Annie's dad came to take her home. First, they all had blueberry pancakes. Then they all went for a walk. Then it was time to go home. Annie thanked her grandmother for such a nice time. Grandmother hugged her and told Annie she loved her. Then Annie said goodbye to Marty, and Grandmother said goodbye to Snowball. "I can't wait to come back again," said Annie. She got in the car and waved to Grandmother. "How was your night?" asked Annie's dad. Annie smiled. "Just perfect," she said. The end. Annie and Snowball and the Wedding Day by Cynthia Rylant. The Right Someone. Annie and her father and her bunny Snowball lived next door to her cousin Henry and his big dog Mudge. It was fun living next door to Henry's family. Henry's dad and Annie's dad built things together. Henry and Annie explored things together. And Snowball and Mudge chewed things together. It was fun being family side by side. Yet something was missing. What was missing was someone for Annie's dad to love. He was a good dad, and he would be a good husband if the right someone came along. One day, that someone showed up. Singing. It was in May when the birds were singing that Annie's dad started singing too. He sang while he cooked. He sang while he cleaned. He looked so happy. "I have met a very nice person," Annie's dad told her one day. "Her name is Martha," he said. "She loves children and bunnies, and she has a cat." "What is her cat's name?" asked Annie. "Rose Cat," said her dad. Annie smiled. Rose Cat and Martha. Life was about to change. Tea and sugar buns. Soon Annie went to meet Rose Cat and Martha. Annie was a little nervous. What if Martha did not like her? But as soon as Annie stepped into Martha's home, Annie knew everything would be all right. Martha was soft-spoken and kind. Rose Cat sat on Annie's lap and purred while they all had tea and sugar buns. When it was time for Annie to go home, Martha loaned her one of Martha's favorite books. It was about a girl and a lost pony. On her way home, Annie sang. Yes, things changed so wonderfully. Martha visited Annie's house often. She became good friends with Henry's mother. Rose Cat became good friends with Snowball and Mudge. Martha was always happy and kind, and Annie missed her when she left. So did Annie's dad. They needed Martha with them all the time. The day finally came when Annie's dad asked Martha to marry him. Martha said yes. As soon wedding plans were being made for a spring wedding. Plans and plans and plans. Annie tried on 20 different dresses until she found the loveliest one. It had an organdy petticoat and a velvet sash. Annie couldn't wait for the wedding day. Everlasting. On a warm April day, everyone Annie loved gathered in a little church garden. The wedding was so beautiful that it made Annie cry. After the wedding, everyone went to Henry's house for cupcakes. The cupcakes were decorated with sparkles and roses. There were fancy carrot sticks for bunnies, and fancy tuna puffs for cats, and fancy crackers for big, drooly dogs. Annie could not remember ever having such a day. Hope and happiness was all around her. No longer was anything missing, and love felt everlasting. The end. Annie and Snowball and the Surprise Day by Cynthia Rylant. Let's go. It was a lovely summer day. Birds sang, flowers bloomed, children played. Annie was playing with her pet bunny, Snowball, in the backyard. They were playing dress-up. Annie loved playing dress-up. Annie's dad called to her. "Annie," he said, "I have a surprise." A surprise? Annie loved surprises. So did Snowball. Snowball loved crunchy surprises. Annie and Snowball went inside the house. Annie's dad was in the kitchen holding 3 things: a map, pink sunglasses, and a picnic basket. He put on the pink sunglasses. "Oops," said Annie's dad. "These must be for you." Annie smiled and took the sunglasses. "Are we taking a trip?" he asked. "We are taking a day trip," said Annie's dad. "We are going to be day trippers." "Yay," said Annie. "Grab Snowball," said Annie's dad, "and let's go." The map. Annie and Snowball and Annie's dad hopped in the car. "Where are we going?" asked Annie. "I don't know," said Annie's dad. "Let's pick a road and follow it." "Okay," said Annie. She opened the map. "Which road?" she asked. "You choose," said Annie's dad. "Here's where we are." He pointed to a circle he had drawn on the map. Annie studied the map. She said, studying. Snowball tried to curl up on the map. Annie laughed. "Snowball likes this road," Annie said. "She's sniffing it." "What number is the road?" asked Annie's dad. 24, said Annie. "Highway 24, here we come," said Annie's dad. He put on his sunglasses. Annie put on hers. Snowball jumped into her car box, and away they went. Highway 24. It wasn't long before they were on Highway 24. "It's a country road," said Annie's dad. "Good pick." "Yes," said Annie. "Snowball did a good job." "She did a good job with her sniffers," said Annie's dad. They drove along Highway 24. They rolled the windows down. They played the radio. They waved at people on tractors. They waved at people on bikes. They stopped at a stand and bought strawberries and blueberries and a cabbage for Snowball. They stopped at a bridge and threw stones in the water. Then they found a shady rest stop. "Time to eat," said Annie's dad. He opened the picnic basket. "Surprise," he said. Inside the basket was a beautiful carrot cake with a real carrot on top. "Wow," said Annie. "Thanks, Dad." Annie and her dad had a lovely snack of strawberries, blueberries, and cake, and Snowball had a perfect salad. Annie fed some little birds bits of her cake, and her dad left a big strawberry under a tree in case a turtle stopped by. Then they hopped in the car for home. Back home. When Annie got home later, she went next door to tell her cousin Henry about her day. Henry and his big dog Mudge were reading comic books and drooling. Only one of them was drooling. Annie told Henry about being a day tripper. "Great," said Henry. "I saved some cake for you," said Annie. "Thanks," said Henry. "And I brought Mudge a stick," said Annie. "Wow," said Henry. "Good stick." Mudge thought so too. He bit it right in half. When Annie and Snowball went back home, Annie's dad was looking at the road map again. "May we take another day trip sometime?" Annie asked. "Sure," said her dad. "Which road shall we take?" asked Annie. Her dad looked at Snowball. "Only the nose knows," he said. Annie smiled a big smile and gave her dad a hug. The end. Annie and Snowball and the Wintry Freeze by Cynthia Rylance. Winter. It was winter, and Annie and her cousin Henry were happy. They both loved winter. Henry loved the snow forts and the snowmen. Annie loved the muffs, ear muffs and hand muffs, all in pink, plus her pink polka dot boots. Annie waited through spring and summer and fall for the time to wear her muffs and boots. Winter was here. Annie and Henry were not the only ones who loved winter. Henry's big dog Mudge and Annie's bunny Snowball also loved winter. Mudge loved it because snow was one of his favorite foods. Snowball loved it because she had a cozy box by the fireplace, and also because she was a snowball. Winter was wonderful. Bundle. One morning, Annie's dad woke her and told her there would be no school that day. "A freeze is coming," said her dad. Icy rain, icy snow, icy everything, he said. Wow, said Annie. She called Henry right away. He was already looking for his ice skates. Do you have ice skates? He asked Annie. No, said Annie, no skates. That's okay, said Henry. We'll figure something out. Just bundle up. It's freezing out there. Annie bundled up. She bundled up so well that her dad said she looked like a big pink marshmallow. Annie just smiled. Icy everything. The icy rain came first. Then it turned to icy snow. Then it seemed the whole world was made of ice. Annie and Henry and Mudge explored. Mudge was wearing a doggy coat and doggy boots. Henry was wearing ice skates and a snowsuit. And Annie was wearing every pink warm thing she could find from her closet. She was also holding on to Mudge for dear life. It was very slippery on the icy ground. Henry could skate, but Annie could only slide. She held on to Mudge and slid all over the place. She slid in the yard, she slid on the sidewalk, she slid right up to the window where Snowball was sitting. Snowball had stayed inside at Henry's house. It was too cold for little bunnies to play outside. Mudge looked at Snowball and wagged. Henry looked at Snowball and waved. Annie blew Snowball a kiss. Snowball looked happy to be warm and cozy. Annie was happy to be cold and icy. The world covered in ice was beautiful and she loved it. She and Henry and Mudge explored every sparkling thing. Warmed up. When it was time to get warm, Annie went into Henry's house. Henry's dad had been filling the bird and squirrel feeders. He was cold too, so he warmed up some apple cider and some cinnamon buns. Yum, said Annie. They peeled off their icy mittens and icy hats and icy boots. Henry's dad helped Mudge peel off his icy things. Then Annie and Henry and Mudge sat in front of the fire. They warmed every finger and toe and paw. When Annie was all warmed up, she found Snowball. Annie offered Snowball a bit of her cinnamon bun. Then they both snuggled into Mudge by the fire. Outside, the world sparkled. Inside, Annie sparkled. She just loved a wintry freeze. The end.
My friends, this is the end of the story. I can't wait for next video to show up. See you later.